Hi, my name is Rachel and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the get to it later tag, and I was tagged once again by my friend here on BookTube, Sam, Not So Wise. Make sure you check out his channel. I will link him down below. Great channel if you love sci-fi and fantasy, so check him out. Especially classic sci-fi and fantasy. I feel like he reads a lot of older titles, which is always great. So without further yapping, let's dive on into the questions. Question 1 is a classic book that you've been meaning to read for a while but haven't yet. I'm going to say Pride and Prejudice because I love the 2005 Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice movie, like with a passion. Like, I love it so much. There's just something about the like drama, the intensity, the yearning, the hatred, and I love it so much. And I have yet to read the source material. So for this one, I'm gonna say Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I've heard that as far as classics go, this one like holds up well and is surprisingly like accessible for it being such like an older text, and I can't wait to read it. I need to put my foot to the pedal and stop being afraid of classics and finally read an Austen book, because I have never read from her before and that feels like a crime. Question 2 is to just pick a book on my shelf that I haven't read yet. For this question, I wanted to pick a book that I don't really talk about that often, so I'm going to say Blood Scion by Deborah Falahi. This was a gift from my friend who was unhauling a bunch of books and asked our little group chat if anyone wanted any, and I saw this and I was like, yes please, because I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so beautiful. I can't remember what it's about, so let's find out together. The synopsis says 15-year-old Sloane can incinerate an enemy at will. She is a scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods, but under the brutal rule of the Lucis, her identity means her death. Her mother knew as much. She disappeared trying to hide Sloane's truth. Sloane too has hidden her abilities, but on her 15th birthday she is conscripted to the Lucis army. Once taken, Sloane must not only conceal her power but overcome the bloody challenges of Lucis training. But if she can infiltrate the Lucis, she could destroy her enemies, the people who think of her as less than human, the overlords responsible for her mother's disappearance. Sloane rises through the ranks and gains strength, but in doing so risks something great, losing herself entirely and becoming the very monster she abhors. I think this sounds really good. It is YA, and I feel like I do still want to reach for YA occasionally, even though, like, again, I haven't been loving it within the last year or two, but this one sounds really good. I'm especially drawn to it because I really loved the first book of Children of Blood and Bone, and I was extremely let down by book 2. And one of the things I really loved about Children and Blood and Bone was the gods, which are the Orisha, and I also read another book that features Orisha, which I believe is called Maya and the Rising Dark. It was a middle grade. It was really cute. Definitely super adorable for kids of the targeted age range. I kind of was a little bored with it just because as middle grade, like, I found it a little predictable for me since I'm an adult and I can recognize, you know, the flow of a story, so to speak. So this one, including Orisha, really intrigues me. And I love that she can just literally set fire to anyone she wants at any given time. If I could have one superpower, I think it would be that. Like, you piss me off, bam, you're you're done. You're burnt to a crisp, no more. I've also heard that this book does have a lot of social commentary, like, laced within the story on like our world and probably societal constructs and oppression, because obviously she is a magical being in this world that wants to kill people like her. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Definitely so gorgeous, and I need to get to it soon. I definitely am going to prioritize this in 2025. Question 3 is a book you recently got that you haven't read yet. So a couple weeks ago, I took my son to the Scholastic Book Fair at his school after school, and it was so nostalgic. And while we were there, I found this book, which is The Serpent's Secret by Sayantani Dasgupta, and I picked it up because the cover really struck my attention. There is gold foiling on these snakes. I don't know if you can see, but it is just so beautiful, and I really loved the little girl on top of the snake head. She's got this like kind of warrior gear on. Looks like she has a cape maybe and a bow and arrow. So I picked it up and I read the synopsis and I was like, that sounds really cute. And for $2, like, I could not leave this behind. I had to take it. On the morning of her 12th birthday, Kiran Mala is just a regular 6th grader living in Parsippany, New Jersey, until her parents mysteriously vanish and a drooling Rakosh demon slams her through the kitchen, determined to eat her alive. Suddenly, Kiran is swept into another dimension full of magic, winged horses, moving maps, and annoying talking birds. There she must solve riddles and battle demons in order to find her parents and basically save New Jersey, her entire world, and everything beyond it. This really caught my attention because of the riddles. Like, I really hope that we get to see her like really like thinking through, being careful with what she says, trying to solve these riddles. I kind of hope that this is like when like I kind of hope that we have that moment of like in a game where you go into a dungeon and there's like a puzzle that you have to solve before you can move on to the next part. That's kind of the vibe I got from the synopsis. So I'm really hoping that she's just like a kick-ass little girl who like saves the world and has to do dungeons and solve riddles, and it just sounded really cute. And I like the cover, and I'd never heard of it before, and I'm trying really a lot to focus on picking up things that I haven't heard of people talking about online, because I think that that's kind of how you find hidden gems. You gotta search the unsearched. You have to travel the path less walked on. Is that the right phrase? I don't think so. Question 4 is a book that you've had forever that you haven't read yet. And for this, I'm gonna go with Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. I talked about this recently. I've had this book for like 4.5 years, probably 5 years at this point. And my husband got it for me at a Goodwill for 50 cents. And it's like perfect condition. It's like brand new condition. It's huge. And I'm a little scared. I want to read it and I want to love it so bad. I love sci-fi and TV and films, and the little sci-fi that I have read, I also have loved. And I need to venture more into the sci-fi aspect of SFF, which is science fiction fantasy. I am fully in the fantasy lane, but I want to keep branching out more to the sci-fi side. This book just scares me, okay? It's intimidating. It's loved by many. It was a TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I don't know. I'm scared. Like, what if I don't like it? I want to like it so badly that I'm terrified to pick it up, because what if I don't like it? If you've read this, let me know if you think I'll like it in the comments, please. I need encouragement. I need help. Help me here. Question 4 is a book a friend recommended to you that you haven't read yet. Now, I don't have any friends. That's a lie. That's a lie. I have like 4 really close friends that I know outside of like the internet that I talk to all the time. But I do tend to read different genres than them, except 2 of them. So I usually have either read the fantasy books that they've already like recommended to me, or they're reading genres that I like am not interested in. So like romance and smut and stuff like that. So I'm going to change this question to be a book recommended by a booktuber that you haven't gotten to yet. And so long ago, probably 6 years ago now at this point, I saw Raegan from Peruse Project talk about Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. I have not read it yet. I remember seeing she did a reading vlog where she read this book for the first time, and she loved it, and the way that she talked about it made it seem so interesting. And I bought this book like right away and have literally never even opened it since then. Let's see, when did this book come out? So this paperback book came out in 2018, and I think that I bought it in 2018. Yeah, so about that. I haven't read it yet. Clearly, that's what this book tag is about. Let's just talk about the fact that I have so many books on my TBR, and for some reason, even when I buy new books, like I always read the newer ones, and then there's like a stack of books that I've had for so long at the bottom that I just haven't gotten to yet, but I also can't let go of them. Like, I think I'm gonna love it. I just need to read it, you know? I just need the push. Question 5 is a book that I'm procrastinating on. So other than every single book on my TBR, for this one, I'm going to specifically pick The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. I read the first 3, it's so heavy. I read the first 3 Wheel of Time books over a year ago at this point. I think I finished book 3 like before the first season of the show came out. So it's been 2 years now, maybe. So the reason why I'm procrastinating on this one is because, like, even though I remember the majority of the plot in like the sense of like the major beats of the plot, like I remember major moments and the overarching plot, there's a lot of things that like have fallen to the wayside in my memory because it's just been so long. So I'm procrastinating because I want to go back and reread book 1 and then reread, you know, the first 3 get up to this point and then finally continue. So I think in 2025, that's going to be a major focus for me, is going back to reread books 1 through 3, because I did really love them. Like, a lot of people I feel like complain about The Eye of the World because it's like slow, but I love fantasy that focuses so much on characters. My cat is taking a bath right next to me. I'm so sorry if you can hear slurping noises. Just know it's not me. It's my cat. But yeah, I love books that focus on the character and really give you a sense of like who they are, their personality, their hopes, their dreams, their desires. I love the sense of foreboding that we get in book one, because there's like this creepy, scary shit is happening and you don't really know a lot about it yet, and you uncover it as the characters uncover it. And I love that kind of storytelling where I am following characters who are like oblivious to these things that are happening in their world, and then like shit hits the fan, and then you discover all of this like, you know, demonic, magical, whatever the fuck, like you discover it with them. And so procrastinating this, because first of all, it's huge. So that's one reason why I'm intimidated. Like the series as a whole is just enormous, but procrastinating this specifically because I know that I need to go reread the other three because it's been so long. I just need to start over and then finish the whole series in a year. That's what really needs to happen because it's so big. I don't want to forget anything. So maybe keep your eyes peeled for the Reading Realm book club Discord next year, because I think after we finish The Faithful and the Fallen, this might have to be the next read along. And the last question, which is number 7, is the next book on your TBR. Now this one was complicated for me because I'm currently reading Valor by John Gwynne. I'm about to start a book for the Never Say Never series, so that's a secret. Shh, don't tell. And I'm also gonna do like a 24-hour challenge with some Christmas smut, but if I don't finish those books within that 24 hours, I'm not going to continue them. They're kind of outside of the like scope of my TBR, and they're more or less just for the video. So I'm not gonna include those here. The next book on my actual TBR that I wanna get to in December, because I did not get to it in October, is Festergrim by Thomas Taylor. This is such a cute, cozy, mysterious, I guess these are cozy mysteries. Or is it a cozy thriller? I don't know. Are they thrillers or mysteries? It's cozy to me. It's probably not cozy to a little kid who would be scared by this stuff, but it's so cute. Violet and Herbie are a tag team of investigators. And in book 1, they get up to some shenanigans. They almost die a few times. They help solve a town mystery. And I think in every book, their story is just kind of like progressing, and there's new mysteries for them to solve. There's new bad guys, there's new monsters, and this one looks like it's going to be equally as exciting. There's also a talking cat in this series, so if you love a good animal companion, you should definitely check these out. If you need a cozy middle grade thriller with an animal companion, you should definitely check out this series. I love these books because they're a great palate cleanser when I'm like fighting a slump, or if I'm just burnt out on humongous chunky fantasy books, and I think they're really cute. And once I read them, I'm going to keep them and give them to my son when he gets a little older, because I think these are the kind of books that he would love. Definitely great. Okay, I'm talking too much. So that's all the questions for the Get to It Later book tag. Again, these are books that I need to have read sooner in my life. And once again, I'm just out here procrastinating. I'd love to know if you read any of these books that I talked about and which ones should I prioritize in 2025. I think I'm definitely going to prioritize the Wheel of Time series and try to get through that, or at least most of that, before the end of the year next year. And I also would really love to get to Leviathan Wakes next year, because that's been on my TBR, one of the longest books I've owned recently. So I would like to tag Rebekah from Adventures in Pages. So I found her channel recently, like maybe 6 weeks ago. I was looking for people doing live sprints because no one that I like actively followed on BookTube was sprinting at the time, but I was like, I need to read, but I'm not feeling motivated, so let me see if anyone's online. And I found Rebekah, and honestly, she is just so kind and so sweet, and she was so welcoming on her sprints, and I've just been following her ever since. And she reads a lot of romance, and she also does read fantasy, so if you like a mix of genres, you need to check out her channel for sure. She's also currently doing one Christmas novella a day for the month of December, so go check out her channel and her Instagram. I'll link her down below. I'd also like to tag Samantha from Samantha Donovan, so I will link her down below. She reads pretty differently from me as well, and I think that it would be great to hear answers from other people who read genres I don't always gravitate towards, just because I think it's fun to hear about books that you don't hear about as often. So make sure you check out these two amazing channels, linked down below. You know what to do. Well, that's it from me. And if you've made it this far in the video, leave the thinking emoji down in the comments, because I have to think about why I haven't gotten to these sooner. Shame on me, honestly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.